Welcome in, everybody. It is a Tuesday. It's time now for True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. We're going to do things a little bit different today. Here's what we're going to do. Because I think yesterday was a little bit of a rough day for some. It was a good day for others. If you're an Eagles fan, it was a great day. Last week was a hard week for me as well. I'm going to admit it. Yesterday, or I'm going to say last week, was one of the worst weeks, I think, in my entire life. I had a rough week last week. Not going to lie. Super Bowl? I'm not a Chiefs fan, but let's face it, it was a rough game to watch. It was just a rough game to watch. It was not a good game. I don't care who you were. Although the halftime show, I absolutely loved the halftime show. So here's the deal. We all need a good laugh, I think. I think it's time we just have a good laugh. What we're going to do today is we're just going to do an episode of Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. But we have a good one. I'll give you that. We have a very good Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals today. So with that, we're going to bring in a very good co-hostess who can bring the funny, bring the witty, bring the intelligent. And not only that, she's very easy on the eyes. And she has three very good books out there right now that you can order in the link in the description of this program. Ladies and gentlemen, here she is. Fresh off, I got to think, massive winnings off the Super Bowl. Jessica Freeburg. Jess, did you make out like a bandit on the Super Bowl?
Well, we did do a little betting thing at my parents' house, so I did win $10.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. I think I have to stop doing number pools at our place at our family place because okay, so there's probably maybe 20 people at our place. And my aunt makes up the number pools. There is multiple number pools for every single quarter, half, and final. So, you have 10 numbers for each pool, right?
Right.
So you've got 2 for the first quarter, 2 for the second quarter, 2 for half, 2 for the third quarter, 2 for the fourth quarter, 2 for final, and you have a spread board for 20 people.
That's a lot.
Right. Well, you've got way too many numbers there, right?
Yeah, and everybody's probably having a drink or two. Like, I can't number even when I'm not drinking.
Yeah. So you're never going to win. You're just never going to win in that scenario, right? So, yeah, it's a bad scenario. So,
yeah, I wish there had been just a little more. I wish it had been a closer game, right? I'm sure we all felt that way. It was a little anticlimactic.
I was shocked at the complete, let's call it what it is, the complete Darnolding of Patrick Mahomes. He completely fell apart, and as did the Kansas City Chiefs. But I mean, it was a Vikings performance. I thought the Minnesota Vikings took over the Kansas City Chiefs uniforms and went out there and played a game. That
is what it felt like.
It was really bad. It looked like a Vikings performance. I was shocked. And I thought, and I kept telling everybody in the room, I said, you just watch. This is a rope-a-dope. This is the classic Muhammad Ali rope-a-dope. The Eagles will get a couple of touchdowns here, and then it's a rope-a-dope. The Kansas City Chiefs will make a comeback. They'll win by 3. It never happened.
Yeah. And I was expecting the big, marriage proposal at the end, or, it was going to be so exciting. And then, oh my gosh, I'm like, they're actually losing. They're going to lose.
They're going to lose. And I thought, this is not happening. Not only that, Jess, but I think the referees got upset with being accused of being Kansas City homers and being in the pocket of Kansas City because they overcalled penalties on Kansas City during the game. Every little ticky-tack foul on Kansas City was being called on them on Sunday. It's almost like they wanted to prove that they weren't homers for Kansas City.
Yeah. Well, even without that, though, there was one too many times when Mahomes threw the football and the guy in the wrong uniform caught it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Wasn't that something? Huh.
It was crazy. My son was telling me, though, one of the guys who got a pick six, it was his birthday. And like, that's the best birthday present ever.
Cooper DeJean. There were actually 2 birthdays on the Eagles on Super Bowl Sunday, Saquon Barkley and Cooper DeJean. So 2 guys who celebrated their birthday with a Super Bowl victory.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So congratulations if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, in fact, I know a couple people who live in Philly who probably were sliding up and down a greased light pole in Philly on Sunday night, I'm sure.
Lighting stuff on fire.
That's right. Lighting stuff on fire. You remember the last Super Bowl victory in 2018? What was reported?
No.
I remember reading a story. In fact, it was on Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals about a guy who, let's just say, ate some fecal matter off the street in Philly after the last Philadelphia Eagles victory.
Oh, that's disgusting.
I'm waiting to read another one of those stories.
My son made the point when we were talking about the game. He goes, well, if Philly wins, they're going to riot because they're going to be happy. If they lose, they're going to riot because they're mad.
That's right.
Either way.
Yep. He's right. It's that kind of town. In fact, they even made the joke on the telecast that they're going to have to grease the light bulbs tonight because in New Orleans.
My father-in-law was born and raised in Philly, so he was super excited. Like, we had that side of the family was stoked, but then we have also a lot of family down in Missouri, and my cousin and my goddaughter are huge Kansas City fans. They were sad, but
I bet. And I know quite a few people in the Missouri area too. I probably know more people from Missouri than I do from the Philly area, and I know there are a lot of sad people in Missouri, but to all good things must come an end, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
we're just kind of used to losing because we're Minnesota Vikings people, so we're just like, they'll be okay. They'll get over it.
Yeah, you'll be all right. It's just a game, And Monday comes and the sting is there, and then you know what? By the end of the week, you'll be just fine.
That's right.
That's right. You'll learn to pick up with life and move on. That's how stuff goes. Meanwhile, in Philly, they'll be celebrating for half a year.
Good for them.
That's right. Good for them. Well, let's move on with Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals. Boy, do we have a show today. Let me tell you something, Jess. We have an entire drunken section today.
Great.
In honor of Super Bowl madness, we have a drunken section. I have to tell you, last night on my way home to drop off my mother and then come home, I actually got pulled over by a cop.
You did?
I did, but I think it was because they were being over cautious. Now, I was and I can tell you, I was in the Farmington, Lakeville area last night. I got pulled over by a Lakeville cop. Now, the reason being is that, and he even admitted that they were looking for drunk drivers because of the Super Bowl. And so he admitted, and I was busy talking to my mom about her upcoming AFib procedure, and I wasn't really paying attention. I made a little bit of a rolling stop. I mean, I did stop, but it wasn't a full stop. And so he, was making sure that I was operating properly, that I wasn't, inebriated, which, but everything was truthful and above board. And he was very nice. He was very cordial. We had a good conversation. We talked a little bit about the game, and he just made sure everything was on the up and up, and he let me go. I was on my way. So
good. Well, I could have bailed you out. That's right in my neck of the woods.
I appreciate that. You were on my speed dial just in case. So, but no, everything was just fine with the potential arrest. No, I'm kidding. No, everything was just fine with the stop and all that. So, but it was the first time in years that I'd been pulled over. I was shocked. I saw the cherries in my rearview mirror, and I went, "What the hell is that?" And I went, "Oh my God, I'm being pulled over." I didn't panic or anything, but I was like, "What the hell is that?" Because I had been going the speed limit and everything, which is unusual for me. No, I'm kidding. But I thought, "Oh, that's weird." So yeah. But I thought, okay. And I was trying to think of what I was doing. I was like, oh, you know what? I didn't fully stop at that stoplight. Okay. So, yeah. So I got pulled over last night.
Well, at least you didn't end up in jail, so we can't talk about you as a stupid criminal today.
That's right. Yeah, there's no mugshot of me for you guys to salivate over today. But there you go. Well, we can talk about, though, something that I've got quite a few emails about. And that's this 100,000 egg, what would you call it? A theft? A heist?
What?
Haven't you heard about this?
No, I don't think so.
Supposedly the biggest heist since the Lindbergh baby is a theft of 100,000 eggs, which has a street value of like things bigger than cocaine. Than a truck full
eggs
of cocaine.
are so expensive right now.
I actually, there's a friend of ours, a listener of the show. His name is Angel, who lives in Puerto Rico. And I talk to Angel quite often. In fact, I talk to him almost daily. Angel sent me a picture of what a dozen eggs go for in Puerto Rico right now. At the Sam's Club in Puerto Rico, eggs are $14.65 a dozen.
Stop it.
Seriously.
That's terrible.
And that was over the weekend.
Oh my gosh. Well, I was under $9 for the pack I got, but
$14.65 a dozen. And the reason for that, the reason for that is because there's a, now keep in mind, Puerto Rico is part of the United States, right? I mean, for lack of a better term, I don't want to give you the exact term because I'll get slayed for this, I know. but they pay fees for shipping in and out because everything goes to the United States, continental United States. I got to use my terms correctly here. I'm going to get emails. Everything goes to the continental United States, then gets shipped to the island. So it goes proper, then to the island. And then they get charged double shipping. So they pay more. They pay more for everything.
Oh,
which is ridiculous. They don't get anything
shipped.
But
it's beautiful there, so at least they have that going for them.
Yeah, well, when you're paying twice as much for everything, that's small consolation there, Jess.
That's true. You know, we were going to Puerto Rico for spring break and we had to cancel our trip, unfortunately. But we had it all planned out and I was so excited. I've never been to Puerto Rico. I almost got to visit Angel. Didn't even know it.
See? Well, I'll have to pass along a number if you ever get there.
Next time. Yeah.
Exactly. So, well, there's a police probe out there for who poached 100,000 eggs. And police are scrambling. This happened, by the way, in Pennsylvania. Home of our world champion Philadelphia Eagles. Right. I have a feeling it was the Eagles who poached them.
The Eagles were hungry.
You got to put them in your protein shake. Police are scrambling to identify who poached about 100,000 organic eggs, and so they're a little bit more expensive, from a Pennsylvania protein producer. Cops estimated the current street value of the eggs is now only $40,000, though that figure could increase based on skyrocketing prices. I mean, it slides from day to day.
Yeah.
Investigators say Pete and Jerry's Organic Eggs was victimized last Saturday evening when one of its distribution trailers was burglarized. The eggs were swiped from outside the firm's headquarters in Greencastle, a borough in the south central part of the state. Pennsylvania state police officials have asked the public to contact them with any information about the theft or who might be trying to fence 8,333 dozen eggs. That's a lot of eggs.
Yeah, what are you going to do with that? I mean, you can't just go out and sell it. You'll get busted.
Well, you would think. But if you take those cross state lines, that's a RICO charge, by the way. I know that much.
That's right.
Yeah, from doing the show. But if you take those across state lines and then try and fence them, and you fence them for cheap, people will buy them and not ask twice. You go across state lines and go $2 a dozen, People buy them up like they're, and they won't say it.
I would probably buy them, although I'm afraid of buying food out of people's vehicles.
There's a lot of people who do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't say a word. As long as it's for a refrigerated truck, I don't think anybody would question it. So there you go. Let's move on to our next story. We go from poached eggs, see what I did there, to a Hollywood story of a different kind, which didn't turn out so well. As a matter of fact, it could end up with life in prison for a Hollywood producer. You know, the old trope, especially from, what was the movie with Uma Thurman and John Travolta?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. It's straight out of Pulp Fiction, except for, in this case, the woman died. You know, the whole adrenaline to the heart deal after the drug overdose?
Yeah.
Yeah. A Hollywood producer is convicted of murder in the deaths of a model and her friend. What happened here was that a Hollywood producer is facing life in prison after a drug-fueled night of partying led to the deaths of 2 Los Angeles women. 42-year-old David Brian Pierce was convicted earlier this week of first-degree murder for the deaths of 24-year-old Christy Giles and 26-year-old Hilda Marcella Cabrera, I believe it's Cabrales Arzola. I think I nailed that one. According to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office. Additionally, Pierce faced previous charges of rape and sexual assault against 7 women spanning from 2007 to 2021 and was found guilty on all counts. A serial rapist was held accountable for the deaths of Giles and Cabrales Arzola, both of whom tragically died as a result of fentanyl poisoning, and the victimization of 7 other women across Los Angeles. That, according to District Attorney Nathan Hochman, in a statement, the office will prosecute to the fullest extent of the law those who illegally supply fentanyl and destroy lives, especially those who commit sexual assault. On the night of November 13th, 2021, Giles, who's a model, and Cabrales Arzola, who's an architect, met Pierce along with Brant Osborne and Michael Ansbach at a nearby warehouse party. This according to Los Angeles police. They returned to Pierce's nearby home where he provided GHB, commonly referred to as a date rape drug, and fentanyl to the group. Now, I'll tell you this much, mix the two, it's never a good thing because they both do the same thing.
Yeah, that's a recipe for death.
That's right. Several hours later, surveillance cameras showed the women being dropped off at 2 different hospitals by a group of masked men driving a car without license plates, thinking, of course, that they wouldn't be traced, right?
Right.
Giles was pronounced dead after staff members found her lifeless body outside Culver City's Southern California hospital. Cabrales Arzola was resuscitated after being dropped off 2 miles away at Kaiser Permanente West in Los Angeles, where she died 11 days later. Now, the men were arrested 1 month later, according to the LAPD. Osborne, Pierce's co-defendant, is charged with 2 counts of accessory after the fact and is set to be retried next month after jurors were unable to reach a unanimous verdict, resulting in a mistrial. An investigation following the murders revealed that Pierce was a habitual offender using drugs to commit numerous sexual assaults against multiple women. According to authorities, 7 of Pierce's victims took the stand at the trial to testify to his sexual depravity and violent tendencies, again, according to prosecutors. Pierce faces 148 years to life in prison. First of all, think about that for a second. 148 years to life. I think you pretty much nailed it with the 148 years.
Either way, it's done.
Yeah. And is scheduled to be sentenced on March 13th.
Wow.
148 years just to life. Do you think he can live to 148 years?
I mean, is that what you call an oxymoron?
I think so, yes. Yeah.
Kind of means the same thing.
Pretty much, yes. Our next story is a little, speaking of oxymorons, a little bit of an oxymoron too. A lot of times, if you're having an emergency, a medical emergency, let's say, a little bit of a heart issue, you have to call an ambulance, right? You get in the ambulance. If you survive the ride, you get to the hospital, you get treatment. Hopefully you're better, right? Well, in this case, an ambulance patient dies after a crash involving a tractor trailer in Plant City, Florida.
Oh, sad.
Didn't even make it through the ambulance ride. What happened here was a patient was being transported in an ambulance and was killed after a crash involving a tractor trailer on SR 39 in Plant City on Friday night. That, according to the Florida Highway Patrol. The Hillsborough County Fire Rescue Ambulance was in non-emergency mode when investigators say the driver, who was a 26-year-old fire rescue man, did not yield the intersection at SR 39 and McGee Road. You heard right. He was another civil servant.
Dang it.
How's that for irony?
That is a very sad irony.
The ambulance was struck by a Peterbilt tractor trailer driven by a 52-year-old Wesley Chapel man. After the crash, the ambulance flipped on its side and the tractor trailer jackknifed. FHP says a 64-year-old woman victim from Plant City was transported to a local hospital where she later died. The ambulance driver and a 47-year-old crew member were taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So they survived, thank God. The crash is under investigation. Okay, now, we talk dumb crimes, stupid criminals. We have both in this next story. And it's incredibly stupid. If you're ready.
I'm ready for it.
We go across the pond, Jess, to England, where a Yorkshire burglar is jailed after police trace his footsteps in the snow to find him hiding in someone's backyard. A note to potential burglars out there, always cover your tracks.
Yeah, you got to get yourself like a branch with some leaves on it and just kind of sweep them away, right?
Or take a snow shovel with you, especially if you're in the snow, or run around.
Or you just shovel out a path. I'm over here.
Or at least don't go running in new fallen snow, right?
Yeah. Plan your crime time better.
That's right. A burglar who led police on a high-speed chase was eventually caught hiding in a garden after officers followed his footsteps in the snow to track him down. It took officers from South Yorkshire Police just 35 minutes to arrest Josh Mansfield after he broke into a home in Bessacar in South Yorkshire. He stole keys from a BMW from the home and then drove off in the car, but was spotted driving erratically just minutes later by patrol officers in January of 2024. A police chase began with the 25-year-old driving at speeds of up to 80 miles per hour before crashing into some railings off White Rose Way and running off. Officers followed his footsteps in the snow and found him hiding in someone's backyard of a nearby house. Mansfield, of no fixed abode, it says here, admitted burglary, theft of a motor vehicle, driving a motor vehicle dangerously and driving while disqualified and without insurance, and was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison on February 3rd of this year. Detective Inspector Mark Nicholson, G, that's his name, Mark Nicholson, G, from South Yorkshire Police said people deserve to feel safe in their homes, and Mansfield's actions saw him destroy this idea of safety for his own personal gain. After breaking into this person's home and stealing their car, he then led police on a dangerous pursuit, driving the stolen vehicle at excessive speeds before colliding with a lamppost. He is fortunate no one was injured as a result of his reckless driving, and thankfully, due to the swift actions of my colleagues, this is again a quote, he was quickly arrested and has been brought to justice just a month after his crimes. I was going to pull up the picture here for you. He is an interesting looking fella who evidently, when he took on the lamppost, We'll just put it that way.
He messed himself up pretty good.
He did, yeah. He took it head on. Let's see here. It's moving a little slow here for me. That's what she said. Hello. Well, you know what? We'll skip it. But yeah, so. Again, one of those guys who, let's just say, here we go. Here he is. He's got a few scratches on him, but he also looks a little clueless as well.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. So
he's had a bad day.
He definitely had a bad day there, Jess. I'll tell you what we'll do. Are we at the... Oh, you know what? Let's take our break right here. When we come back, we've got a whole drunken slew of stories, including 2 war monuments that went by the wayside as a result of drunken behavior, and a man who reported a prayer meeting as a cult meeting because he was too drunk to know where he was. And he got arrested for it.
Uh-oh.
It's kind of fun. And, of course, we've got the Not Safe for Work edition today, which is a little dark. I'm not going to lie. But we've got a palate cleanser today involving balloons. But it's not quite what you think. That's how we're gonna.
Scared.
That's how we're gonna end today's show. Fun with balloons to end today's show. It's an interesting show today, folks. That's for sure. Dumb Crime, Stupid Criminals today on True Crime Tuesday. It's a little bit of a lighter episode after the Super Bowl. We'll be right back with more right here on True Crime Tuesday. Welcome back to the best in true crime podcast. This is True Crime Tuesday. I'm your host, Tim Dennis. Right over there, my co-host is Jessica Freeburg. We are talking, of course, about dumb crime, stupid criminals today. And we're into a drunken section, Jess, where evidently all war monuments were at high alert this week because evidently none of them were safe when if you're out there drunk and driving. For this story, where are we going for this story? We're going to France for this story, of all places.
Ooh, I've never been to France.
I haven't either. I'd like to go, but if I go, I'm going to remain sober and away from tanks. I know this much. A drunk woman smashed her car into a World War II tank that was used on D-Day.
Dang.
Right. Now, if you're thinking about, things I could hit with my car, a tank would not be one of them.
No, that's at the top of the list, I think.
Yeah, I'm not winning that battle. I know that much. A woman has been arrested after a car crashed into a British World War II memorial in France. The memorial, which is a Churchill AVRE Mark IV tank, is on permanent display at Sword Beach in Normandy, next to the Liberty Monument commemorating British soldiers who died in France. The crash happened at around 5:30 a.m. on Saturday in Lyon-sur-Mer, where thousands of troops came ashore on D-Day on June 6th of 1944. The tank on display was part of the 79th Armored Division, one created specifically for the D-Day landings. So, you can't recreate that thing. A local police spokesperson said the driver hit a number of bollards before crashing into a tank. And the suspect, who is a French woman in her 40s, was found to be well over the drink-drive limit. She was shocked and her car was badly damaged, but the armored vehicle remained undamaged and was not displaced, the spokesperson added. The Churchill was donated to France permanently by General Ian Harris, who commanded the 2nd Battalion of the Royal Ulster Rifles on D-Day. It was refurbished by 77 Armored Engineer Squadron for the 65th anniversary of the D-Day landings in June of 2009. A tank.
Yeah, sounds like she just went from one thing to the next.
She bounced.
Kabam, 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 and then ended with the tank.
Bounced like a pinball. Just bing, 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 bing. Hey, there's a tank that'll stop me. Boom.
What a night.
What a night. Well, you'd think if she had a night with World War II, there's another drunken driver who slammed into a 150-year-old Civil War monument in Nantucket.
Oh, man.
There once was a man from Nantucket who saw a war monument and decided to... You finish that limerick if you want. The 27-year-old driver now faces charges of operating under the influence, negligent operation of a motor vehicle, leaving the scene of property damage, accident, failing to stop, and speeding. He had a fun night.
So many crimes.
So many crimes. So much damage. Drunken driver allegedly crashed into the Nantucket Civil War Monument on Wednesday night, damaging the structure. Around 8:20 p.m., authorities responded to the area of Milk and Main Streets for a report of a one-car collision. According to police, the car was found resting on its roof on the sidewalk beside the monument, which was damaged in the crash.
Dang it. That's serious.
Yeah, he hit it. You never do anything half-assed, Jess.
So, he went full bore.
Yeah, if you're going to hit a 150-year-old monument, don't half-ass it. Just go full bore. By the way, the Nantucket Fire Department found it that way. The monument, about 150 years old, it's gone 150 years without anybody blemishing it, right?
Yeah.
This jackass decides, let's go for it. You know, we've had a couple of schwheels. Let's take off after this thing, right? The monument, about 150 years old, has the words, "To the sons of Nantucket, who by land and sea gave their lives to preserve a united country," inscribed on it. The vehicle was towed, and Nantucket Public Works was notified about the destruction to the monument. After that, they strung the guy up by his balls. No, I'm kidding. They didn't. But that would have been fun. Nantucket Police and Fire Department secured the area, and 9 fire department personnel, including an ambulance, heavy rescue truck, and utility truck, responded. Crews cleared the scene by roughly 10 p.m. The driver, Lucas Araújo Franca de Brito, 27, of Nantucket, was taken to Nantucket Cottage Hospital. Could have been a college hospital too, but it was a cottage hospital with injuries, authorities said. He was arrested at the hospital and charged with operating under the influence, negligent operation of a motor vehicle, leaving the scene of a property damage accident, failing to stop, and speeding. There's actually video of this scene, so I'm going to post it in the description of this show so you can watch the damage, because it's a little extensive. You're going to want to see it. So you can watch that. All right, Jess. It escalates. It gets worse. Because we go from Nantucket to Wisconsin, where a Wisconsin woman was found unresponsive in her vehicle with 5 children.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. We go from
Mom of the Year.
We go from war damage to your childhood as we go to Cross Lanes, West Virginia, where a Wisconsin woman was charged late Wednesday night after Kanawha County deputies said she was unresponsive in a vehicle with 5 children. You know you've got Mother of the Year honors when you're drunk with 5 kids in the car, right?
That story's just going to make me feel better about myself, Tim. I like it.
I'm trying to build you up. I'm trying to prop you up here, Jess. Right. 40-year-old Nicole M. Coyne of Brookfield, Wisconsin, is charged with 5 counts of misdemeanor DUI with a minor and 5 counts of felony child neglect after creating serious risk of injury. That, according to a news release from the Kanawha County Sheriff's Office. Deputies said they found Coyne slumped over the center console of her vehicle and unresponsive about 11 p.m. on Wednesday at a Taco Bell in Cross Lanes.
Oh, gosh.
Something tells me she wasn't there to feed the kids.
No. 11 p.m.?
No.
Probably not.
No. I doubt she was like, Mommy's been a bad mommy. I got to feed you eventually. I don't think that came up in the conversation at all. Also inside the vehicle were 5 children ranging from a 2-month-old to a 6-year-old child.
Oh, my gosh. They're all so little. 6 and under.
Do you think she was breastfeeding the kid while she was schwilling?
That's like a kid a year almost.
Yeah, she's popping them out quick.
Oh, God.
And do you think she was all the way in West Virginia for a hookup? I'm just curious.
Seriously, it takes 9 months to incubate a baby. How do you have that many in such a short amount of time?
She's a trooper. Just saying.
Dang.
Deputies said the infant was not secured in a car seat because why would you? I mean, you're living on the edge.
I mean, obviously.
Right? And was crying hysterically and allegedly on the verge of falling out of the seat.
Oh.
Yeah, well, when you're, what was she, 2 months old?
Yeah, 2 months old.
You got to learn quick. Just saying.
You learn how to take care of yourself, kid.
That's right. You're 2 months old, kid. You got to learn how to make your way in this world on your own. I had to do it. You got it too. Mother of the Year. The other children were found with soiled diapers and urine-covered clothing. Because again, got to make your own way in this world. Multiple cans of craft beer were allegedly found scattered across the console because if you're not spending money on the kids, you might as well spend it on craft beer. Just saying.
You got to drink the good stuff.
That's right. Got to get that good stuff in there. Deputies said they were able to wake Coyne after multiple attempts and observed the smell of alcohol, bloodshot eyes, and slurred speech. Coyne is accused of not being able to provide her name or date of birth and was allegedly unable to walk. There's a shock.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. But she was at Taco Bell, so she was able to eat. Yeah.
She was hungry. You can't drink all that alcohol. You got to absorb it with some tacos.
That's true. Or shitty tacos. Yeah. The sheriff's office said Coyne refused to operate or cooperate. She was operating the vehicle, but she refused to cooperate in the DUI investigation or submit to any field or chemical tests. Of course, she's currently being held on a $5,000 bond. Does that seem low to you, Jess?
It certainly does, given the fact that she had children in her car.
Yeah. Children in the car. You're highly intoxicated. It's just child endangerment. There's just so much going on for only $5,000. I'm shocked. But it is West Virginia. I think is where they were. So it doesn't shock me. But by the way, here's what Mother of the Year looks like. If you want to know,
let's see.
That's her right there.
Oh, she looks normal.
Does she look normal to you?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I would see her at Target and with her 5 little kids and think, God bless. I wouldn't think, oh, there's a neglectful, raging alcoholic.
There's a raging alcoholic hoochie mama. I don't know.
Oh, sad. Those poor kiddos.
I just heard a helicopter go over my house.
They're going to find you, Tim.
The black helicopters are here finally. Must be related to last night in the traffic stop. Who knew? All right. This story is an interesting one, Jess. An intoxicated man mistakes a Bible study group for a human trafficking operation. You are really in your cups when you show up at a house and go, you people are taking people and I could prove it. Stop your praying. I mean, literally stop your praying, as in, putting your hands together as opposed to preying on other people, right? We go to Stafford County, Virginia, where a man was charged with breaking and entering, assault, and public intoxication after mistaking a Wednesday Bible study for a human trafficking operation. Now, imagine this guy comes to your door and goes, excuse me.
Oh, he can barely keep his eyes open for this picture.
Right. I think you people are sick. The man's been identified as 48-year-old David Campbell of Stafford, Virginia. According to authorities, Campbell took it upon himself to forcefully investigate a Wednesday night Bible study that was mistaken as a human trafficking operation. On February 5th, that was last week, at approximately 7:35 p.m., deputies responded to Renee Road for a disturbance that was quickly escalating. The caller stated that he was upset that his neighbors were double parked. That's what started this whole thing.
Oh, my.
They are double parked. And let me tell you something. I will not stand for this. Authorities say the caller confronted his neighbors in their residence and observed multiple people. Campbell assumed that the gathering was a human human trafficking operation because they were double parked. Boy, that is a leap.
You know, double parking is the gateway to human trafficking, Tim.
Well, Jess, in my many studies of Satan, it starts with double parking. It really does. And then it escalates to jaywalking.
Yeah.
And then it goes from there. It's
all downhill.
Yeah. Campbell assumed the gathering was a human trafficking operation, wanted deputies to investigate it. While reporting the incident, dispatchers could hear him taunting and cursing at the neighbors. Come on out. Deputies quickly arrived at Campbell's residence where they made contact with him. He was in the middle of the roadway, by the way, at this point. Campbell complained about the parking situation and demanded deputies to identify everyone within the residence. Get all their names. I want all their names. Every single one of them. According to neighbors, Campbell forced his way into the residence to confront them and nearly struck an ordained minister and threatened to punch another man.
Oh, my God.
He was serious. The incident was captured on surveillance video, but has not been released as of yet. He was held at Rappahannock Regional Jail without bond. Now, see, they handled that situation properly.
Exactly. He gets that. I mean, his crime was, in my opinion, less troublesome to my brain than what happened with that mom and her children in the car.
That's right. The mom in the car endangering 5 kids, all barely able to speak. She gets a $5,000 slap on the wrist. This guy interrupts a prayer meeting. They lock him up and throw away the key.
That's wild.
Isn't that something? Goes to show you how different states treat different crimes. All right. Now, I had a friendly encounter with a police officer last night. These 2 men went to have a friendly encounter with a police officer, going to ask directions. The difference between me and these 2 men, I was completely sober as a judge. These 2 men, high off their asses. And you get different responses, Jess.
Yeah.
Right?
It's a different experience.
That's right. 2 men were arrested for drug possession while trying to ask cops for directions. Dad, don't do that. Just don't. You're not going to get away with it. We go to Columbia, Missouri, where 2 men were arrested in Osage Beach last week for drug possession after they stopped their vehicle and asked law enforcement officers with a drug-sniffing canine for directions.
Oh, man. You couldn't have picked that one if you tried. Like... What are the odds?
It says right on the car, right? Drug sniffing canine, or it says canine unit on the car. Canine unit. So you probably don't want to be puffing and then walk up.
What are the odds that they would even encounter that cop at that exact moment? Like, that's the universe trying to tell them something.
Right?
Get your shit together, guys.
This is the epitome of dumb crime, stupid criminals right here.
So good.
27-year-old Aaron Reagan of Sullivan was charged with drug possession and misdemeanor driving while revoked. His license was revoked and he went up and asked for directions.
Oh, man.
That's stupid. He's being held at the Camden County Sheriff's Office on a $7,500 bond. A hearing is scheduled for 9 a.m. today. 27-year-old Alan Richards of Beaufort was charged with drug possession and is being held at the jail on a $15,000 bond. A preliminary hearing is set for 9 a.m. today. A press release for the Osage Beach Police Department says that the department, Miller County Sheriff's Office, and Mid-Missouri Multi-Jurisdictional Drug Task Force were preparing to start canine training on January 31st when that vehicle, driven by Reagan, pulled up. The men in the vehicle asked for directions on how to get to Osage Beach.
Just imagine the conversation in the car before they found the cop. Just 2 high idiots. Not sure where let's ask that guy.
Yo, dude.
I don't know.
Here's the kicker. Are you ready for this, Jess? They were like, dude, I'm just wondering where Osage Beach is. Here's what the cop's response was. The officer said, Dude, you're already in Osage Beach. The officers noted the men appeared to be impaired at that point. Another officer brought out their canine partner to sniff around the vehicle, and 2 grams of methamphetamine were found in a jar in the vehicle.
Oh, dang. Not even just a little pot.
No.
Straight up meth.
Straight up meth. Dude, you're in Osage Beach, and now you're in my squad car. Sorry. You can thank my canine partner over here. You're lucky you didn't bite your balls off. And that's the rest of the story. We now know, Jess, in our next story, what diamond theft is in Mandan, North Dakota.
Oh, they have a lot of diamonds there?
They do, but not the kind you're thinking of. Do you know what kind I'm thinking of?
See the smoke coming out of my ears as I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And there's a lot of it. It turns out that the VFW arena had a burglary.
Oh, they're stealing a baseball diamond?
Yes, they're stealing from the baseball diamonds up at the Mandan Arena. We go to Mandan, North Dakota, where a Bismarck man is charged with stealing equipment from the VFW All Seasons Arena in January, is now facing new felony charges for a different burglary. Mandan police have connected 29-year-old Devin O'Fallon to an October burglary at the Mandan Memorial Baseball Diamond. They say a pry bar, parts of latex gloves, and a knife were found at the diamond. Here's how much they value their baseball diamond in Mandan, North Dakota, Jess, and how much they don't have to do in Mandan, North Dakota. Police say that DNA evidence linked O'Fallon to the scene.
Stop it.
They ran DNA on the baseball diamond.
Well, good for them, but wow.
Can you imagine, first of all, how much DNA is on the baseball diamond?
Yeah, probably a lot of it from all the guys like spitting and...
Yeah. Can you imagine how much detective work had to go into that?
Well, it's not Bob. You know, here's Bob's DNA. Here's Larry's DNA.
It must be that.
They had a game last night.
Must be that Devin character. O'Fallon's jury trial is in May. His bond. Okay, I know you're sitting down. This is how serious they take baseball in Mandan, North Dakota.
Going to be more than $5,000, I bet.
Yes. His bond is $10,000.
Stop! That's crazy. Good for them, though.
My hand to God.
They're not putting up with this, Tim.
That's right. My hand to God, Jess. Told you today was an interesting episode.
They probably called his grandma, too.
They did. They're like, Granny, guess what? Guess what Devin did? He was over there at over there at the baseball diamond. He tried taking the bases again. So you know what we did? It's more than a slap on the wrist today, Granny. No, you know what we had to do? We had to throw him into jail. Yeah. You know how we got him? The DNA. That's how we got him. Yeah, you betcha. Yeah. Had to take him out. Yeah.
I feel like I'm there, Tim.
Do you feel like you're there now? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I tried. Except for they don't talk that fast. This conversation, would probably take about 4 or 5 days. Yeah. Because you'd have to talk about, the crops. And then you have to talk about the weather.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd have to talk about the relatives. Then, you'd have to talk about some sort of recipe you found recently. Right?
Yeah, probably.
Then finally you get about, you know what that Devin did? Oh, let me tell you. Oh, boy. You know how they caught him? The DNA. He left his DNA all over the bases, but not like that. We're not like that here. No.
I hope it's not that kind of DNA. That takes it to the next level.
No, yeah, no. He left a pearl necklace on the diamond. That's horrible.
It's all right out of his ass.
That's a different kind of. Yeah, it is. Our next story, Jess, has to do with year-round Christmas. Are you a Christmas person?
I am. I love Christmas. My favorite.
Well, there is a couple that has a year-round Santa statue in Winnipeg.
Oh, well, that's cool. Outside or inside?
Outside. Actually, there's a little video here of year-round Christmas. See?
Oh, look at him.
Year-round Santa. There's only one problem. There's a Grinch that decided to destroy this Santa statue.
Oh.
And would have nothing of it. Although they caught him.
Good.
Christmas may come only once a year, but an Elmwood couple, again, this is in Winnipeg in Canada, has been spreading holiday cheer every day for the past 3 years. Santa's helpers Richard Holm and his wife Nicole Abbott keep a Santa Claus statue in their front yard on Nairn Avenue, and the jolly old St. Nick has become a merry mainstay in the neighborhood. If people are driving by, we get horns honking and whatnot, Holm told CTV News on Wednesday. They'll actually roll down their windows and give us a shout out. Throughout the year, Santa wishes season's greetings adorned in leprechaun green, Winnipeg Jets blue, and Valentine's Day red. We dress him up in all kinds of holiday occasions, Holmes said. He's just here to lift spirits for the community. Oh, so you put him in a little thong for Valentine's Day, I suppose, and all that other stuff. Yeah, why not? You know, why not? Why not? But Santa's spirit lifting was abruptly grounded on Sunday afternoon when an unknown person entered Holmes' yard and attacked the statue. I was relaxing on the couch when I heard some yelling. I wasn't too sure what it was. And then I heard some banging, Holmes recalled. So I looked outside and I saw the individual beating up Santa pretty good. Yikes.
Why?
I don't know. Holmes said he didn't intervene in the assault, but went out shortly after to survey the damage. Chicken shit. Finding Santa's right arm hanging perilously and his bottom half torn apart at the waist.
What did Santa ever do to this guy? That's so crazy.
You're going to hell for bashing in Santa's balls. That's all I know.
You don't get to rip Santa's lower half off.
That's right.
It's messed up.
That is messed up. A Winnipeg Police Service spokesperson confirmed to CTV News that they received a report of the incident and said investigators will follow up with Holm and Abbott. Jason Schreier, city councilor for Elmwood East, I believe it is Kildonan, said it's sad to hear about these types of incidents, especially when it happens to something created for community by community. It kind of hurts. He said, "This is my neighborhood," Schreier told CTV News. "We need people to have self-respect so they can have respect for the people around them. I think that it comes down to that. I think that comes down to the essence of it," he said. The essence of it. The quote here, Holmes said with a laugh, is, "Whoever did this to our Santa, you're getting coal in your stocking next year." And they have
True, and I don't know how Santa's going to get it to you now that he doesn't have a lower bottom part of his body.
That's true. They have it on video.
And one arm hanging off.
Yeah, one arm. That's right. They have it on video. Actually, you know what? I'll post
actual attack? The
actual attack. I'll put this one up as well, so you can watch the attack on Santa.
Ew.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can watch Santa's balls get ripped off by a... Yeah. Speaking of getting your balls ripped off, it's time now for the Not Safe for Work portion of our program, as if we haven't been dirty enough for you today. By all means, if you're in front of your boss right now, put in your earbuds. If you're in front of the kids right now, they've already heard about mommy taking them drunk to Taco Bell. You can either threaten them with that, or you could take them out of the room. You should do that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Time now for Not Safe for Work. This first story is incredibly sick. Not going to lie. I don't know that there's too much funny about today's Not Safe for Work. It's kind of disturbing.
Okay, so I'm going to laugh because I'm super uncomfortable.
Yes,
okay.
It's going to be one of those uncomfortable laugh deals. Actually, I don't know if there's anything funny about this first story. We go to Utah, where a sick Utah sock stealer and sniffer is arrested. The 63-year-old creep is locked up without bail, thank God. This guy, first of all, I got to show you a picture of this guy. He's way too happy for what he does. Here he is right here.
Oh, happy little sock sniffer.
Yeah, he is. Wait till I tell you whose socks he's sniffing. You're going to want to hang him by his you-know-what.
Mm-hmm.
A pervert who was caught stealing and sniffing children's socks at a Utah funplex is facing numerous felony charges after a police search of his residence and electronic devices turned up multiple files of child pornography.
Oh.
Yeah, he's an ick guy.
Yeah, super ick.
Yeah. The probe of 63-year-old Roland Edward Brown began last year after an employee of the Rush Funplex called cops to report that a suspicious male was stealing socks at the entertainment venue, which features a laser tag, rock climbing, kiddie carts, and a foam pit. Yeah, not good. That's why you can't have like Chuck E. Cheese anymore. Chuck E. Cheese used to be such an innocent place, right?
But I always would say, I would look around when I take my kids there and I'd be like, how many of these people who are not here with children are just creepy pedophiles?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Right? And I would always tell my husband, don't let them out of your sight. It's like 5 minutes in a bathroom with a weirdo could ruin their entire life.
That's right. That's right. According to a probable cause affidavit, a police investigation revealed that Brown stole multiple children's socks from the Rush Funplex in West Jordan, which is a Salt Lake City suburb. Additionally, Roland was seen sniffing the stolen socks and taking multiple pictures of the children playing, which is Creep City. Alarmed by this concerning behavior, cops secured a warrant to raid Brown's Utah County home. During the search of Roland's electronic devices, it was found he had multiple files of CSAM, or child sexual abuse material. Investigators also discovered several images of children around the area trying on shoes or just the children's feet. Seen above, you can't see it, but I showed you the picture. Brown was arrested yesterday and charged with 10 counts each of aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor and sexual exploitation of a minor. He is also accused of tampering with a witness, which is a felony, after it was found that Roland attempted to have a witness lie to the court. Ruling that there was substantial evidence against Brown, a judge ordered him to be held without bail, noting that Brown, if released, would constitute a substantial danger to any other individual or to the community, or is likely to flee the jurisdiction. According to court papers, Brown's residence is a home in Lehigh, which is a Utah County city, owned by his 48-year-old wife. Brown's spouse filed for divorce 6 weeks ago. Well, good for her. Brown appears to have operated a business recruiting firm for the Lehigh property. The company Advantage Recruiting was formed in 2013 and lists his wife as its principal, according to state records. All right, next story. Again, this one a little on the shifty side, but we have a palate cleanser.
Okay.
After this one. I thought you were going to question my palate cleansers, too.
Just one of those shows, Tim.
Just one of those shows today, Jess. Our next story has to do with a masseur who was busted for a sex attack on his male client. We go to Florida, of course. The land of all things strange. A Florida spa patron was jumped from the table, and called the cops after he got a little more than what he paid for. A licensed massage therapist is locked up on $100,000 bond. I don't think they like that activity in Florida.
That's serious.
I know. They kind of overcharged on that deal, don't you think?
It depends on what he did.
For forcibly performing a sex act on one of his male clients. That according to Florida investigators who yesterday arrested the masseur for felony sexual battery. In court records, the December 29th incident occurred at the Botanica Day Spa in Clearwater, Florida, where 45-year-old Hector Posadas was performing massages and skincare treatments. Posadas earlier this week moved to voluntarily relinquish his massage therapist license, first granted in 2016, according to the Florida Department of Health records. The victim told cops that towards the end of the session, while lying on his back, Posadas touched his penis. The client believed this to be odd and assumed it was a mistake. I don't think you pay for that activity.
Oops.
I mean, unless you are paying for the activity, and it was probably in with the package, so to speak.
They call that a happy ending, right?
That's right. Thank you, Jess. That's what it's called, a happy ending. Thereafter, however, Posadas allegedly reached under the victim's underwear, grabbed the man's penis, and placed it in his mouth, which is not something you pay for at a legit therapeutic spa.
And that was not an accident.
That's not a no. No, it's not like, hey, I got wieners for lunch. No, that's not yeah, you're right. The victim, cops report, jumped up from the table, ended the massage session, and left the business to alert police. That'll happen too.
Wow.
A sexual assault forensics exam later revealed that the victim had foreign DNA on his penis, scrotum, and genital area, as well as in the inside of his underwear. An arrest affidavit does not identify a contributor to those DNA samples. During initial police questioning, Posadas denied that the incident took place. He subsequently retained legal counsel and declined to speak further with detectives. Posadas is due in court on today, actually, as a matter of fact. Posadas, who was born in Venezuela, resides in a Largo condominium and that he bought for $165,000 in 2022. He was married in 2016 to a man 18 years his senior, but that union ended in divorce in 2021. According to his LinkedIn page, as an esthetician, Posadas has successfully balanced clients' needs while delivering exceptional service. I guess, right?
I mean, yeah.
He goes above and beyond, Jess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not.
Whether you like it or not. Whether you ask for it or not. Whether you're paying for it or not, I guess. He says, my dedication to quality has led to an increase in client retention. I'll debate that. Showcasing my commitment to client satisfaction.
Oh my goodness. There's nothing you can say right now that isn't going to be pervy.
Right. This is Mr. Posadas right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, watch out for that guy.
That's right. That's one way or another. So there you go. All right. So with that, we need a little bit of a palate cleanser.
Yes, please.
All right. Our palate cleanser today has to do with balloons. The first story is a cautionary tale about balloons. More specifically, what you put in a balloon, helium. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, kids, we all know it's fun to play with helium. You know, you suck on helium and you make your voice sound funny, right? Well, it turns out that a helium birthday balloon tragedy has happened overseas. Faith Waterman Batich's family urges others to heed the safety warnings on the packages after they had a death in the family. Faith Waterman Batich died after she inhaled too much helium at her child's first birthday party.
Oh, Tim, how is this a palate cleanser?
I'm about to tell you. The family of a young mother who died after inhaling helium at her child's first birthday party have described the desperate effort to save the bright and bubbly woman. She was bright and bubbly, Jess.
Of course she was. She was going to talk in a Mickey Mouse voice. She was so fun.
Yes, she was.
Hey, isn't this fun?
Right? She was doing a lot of that. Faith Waterman Batist, I believe is how she says her name, loved ones say helium sales should be restricted after moments of lighthearted fun killed the mother of two in a matter of seconds. This 20-year-old Te Puke, I think it is, that's the name of the city in Australia, or is it New Zealand? I think it's New Zealand, died in September of 2022 despite an hour-long battle to save her life. Her death was referred to the coroner, who has released a warning about the dangers of inhaling helium. It's a cautionary tale, Jess. Started off as a normal day, her twin sister Eden Waterman told the Herald on Sunday. The family was preparing for the first birthday of Faith's second child and had been using a helium canister to fill balloons for the party. She was sucking down the helium. Just man.
It wasn't just out of the balloon. It was out of the canister.
Members of the group began inhaling helium from the balloons to make their voices high. Everyone jumped on the bandwagon like, oh, that's so funny. Another member of the group suggested inhaling directly from the helium canister, saying they'd done it before.
Oh, no.
It took some convincing for Faith to agree to inhale from the canister. Just as she had inhaled, another person turned up the flow on the canister.
They killed her.
Yes, it wasn't the canister's fault.
Oh my gosh.
It went too fast and kind of shot her in the back of the neck. Her last words were literally, oh shit, and she dropped.
And I bet it sounded like Alvin and the Chipmunks when she said it.
It was more like,
Oh, shit.
and then she dropped.
That is so sad. Oh my God.
I was like in shock. I was kind of just froze and I was like, what the fuck? What am I seeing? Like, is this for real? I thought she was putting us on at the start, but Faith went blue instantly and her mom, Diane Waterman, and a cousin began CPR, continuing their efforts for 45 minutes until an ambulance arrived. The paramedics battled for another 20 minutes to resuscitate Faith, including giving her 4 shots of adrenaline. Nothing got her back. Diane Waterman said helium gas attached to the oxygen molecules in a person's body, and once that happens, there's no saving her. Well, no shit, Sherlock.
Who turned it up? That literally, who did that?
Right. You're the one who killed her. It wouldn't matter whether she was even in a hospital environment when it happened. There's no coming back from it, she said. Well, right. Eth Waterman said Faith was gone instantly. The report on her cause of death noted that she would have died rapidly. She didn't suffer, they say.
That doesn't make it any better. It's
No.
the worst thing I've ever heard. Well, not the worst thing I've ever heard. You definitely told me worse.
Well, the coroner, by the way, wants better warning labels. In New Zealand, helium canisters can be bought over the counter and can also be purchased online without any restrictions. But what do you want in there? What do you want, dumbass? Don't inhale from the canister?
In giant letters, Tim, exactly those words.
Wait, don't drink from the fire hose? Is that what you want?
Don't eat broken glass. What else can we tell people they shouldn't do? That's just obvious.
Oh my God.
Don't set yourself on fire.
By the way, if you're wondering where the chipmunk voice occurs, it's because the helium is much lighter than air, causing sound waves to travel faster and amplifying the higher frequency in the voice. In case you're wondering where that comes from.
Yeah. Used to be my favorite thing to do, but I don't think I'm going to do it anymore.
Well, that's, again, it's because you get too much and it attaches to the oxygen and you're gone. But she drank from the fire hose, Jess. I mean, a little sip of helium doesn't
asshole
kill
turned
you.
it up.
Right. I mean, they hit her with this right here. You don't drink from this.
No.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
You don't drink from the canister. God. All right. So the second story. Speaking of balloons, this is a little lighter. This is how we end today's. This is one of 2. We've all heard of the Mile High Club.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, if you tried it on an airplane these days, you're going to get arrested. That's all there is to it. Nobody lets you go in the bathroom and boff. That's just what it comes down to.
And honestly, it's so small. Like, what bathrooms were people using for this? I can barely move around in it by myself.
Right. Well, it's a tight fit, so to speak. But, you know, that's just kind of the way it is. Even if you try a little seat loving while you're sitting on an airplane, a little over the blanket action or whatever, even that's not allowed.
Don't do that. That's weird. I don't need to see that if I'm sitting next to you.
I'm just giving options, Jess. That's all. Well, now there's an actual legal Mile High Club.
Oh.
And we're talking balloons. Most flights don't want you joining the Mile High Club. This company, however, is encouraging it. In a travel news section, the rise in solo dining were to save money at U.S. ski resorts. The Californian Hot Air Balloon Company is offering a rather cheeky package. A California-based hot air balloon company is offering mile-high flights with Amherst Mile High Club advantages and privileges over the Temecula countryside. Guests can enjoy the views with a whole basket to themselves and a privacy screen separating the pilot compartment from the passenger cabin. So you can get it on.
You can do anything you want in there.
That's right. Guests can enjoy the views with a whole basket to themselves and a privacy screen right there. The pilot, who Magical Adventure Balloon rides, promises will be wearing protective hearing gear and focused solely on flying, ascends the balloon to 5,280 feet, or about 1,610 meters, which is about 2,000 feet higher than a typical recreational flight. While intimate clinches are usually thoroughly discouraged in the skies, the company invites you to bring your own bedding and music playlist. A complimentary champagne.
My God.
A complimentary champagne breakfast is also included to fuel your frolics of whatever sort. Pricing, by the way, for two passengers starts at $1,400. If your mantra is the more the merrier, each additional adult in the larger 10-person basket is $159. So if you wanted to have that orgy in the sky, you just add on.
Bring your friends. It's pretty cheap.
That's right. So there you go.
Is it bad that if I had the opportunity to be up in the sky with the solitude and the quiet, I'd probably just bring a book and take a nap?
No. But that's an option too.
I'm old and tired, Tim.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with that, Jess. So there you go. That's how we end Dumb Guys, Stupid Criminals, their little deal. And you can't get arrested up there.
No.
Not in a balloon.
Enjoy.
Have at it. All right, Jess, with that, what's new and exciting in your world?
Oh, gosh. It's wonderfully, blissfully calm and peaceful. Really just getting my taxes ready.
That's not blissful.
No trips to announce because I don't have time to think about them.
Right.
But I will soon.
Right on. All right. On this end, we'll tell you that our executive producer for today's show is Troy Palmer. Check out the store, darknessradioshow.com. The Apple app, if you have not updated it yet, check your stores. If you're not aware of the Darkness Radio Apple app, check it out in the Apple Store. What else? I think that's it. I think that's all I've got for right now. Tomorrow, Supernatural News. And then later on in the week, let's just say we've got a little thing to do with the Defense Department and aliens.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's what's coming up this week on Darkness Radio.
Sounds like a good one.
That's right. All right, so we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for joining us today for a little bit of Dumb Crimes and Stupid Criminals. And we lightened it up a little bit this week. We'll get back to interviews next week. So there you go. For Jessica Freeburg, I'm Tim Dennis. Thank you so much for joining us today for True Crime Tuesday.